President Muhammadu Buhari has departed the nation's capital, Abuja, to attend a 4-day African Finance Summit in Paris. The meeting is expected to focus on reviewing the African economy in the wake of the shocks from the coronavirus pandemic and possible relief measures, especially from increased debt burden on countries. President Muhammadu Buhari is also expected to meet with the French president and also hold talks with some key players in the oil and gas sector, engineering and telecommunications, the European Council and European Union, as well as members of the Nigerian community in France. As a president departs for France, the opposition People's Democratic Party (PDP) is tasking the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC) and the Buhari-led administration to urgently attend to the situation of things in the country. According to the opposition party, Nigerians are starving, dying, and has asked President Buhari to address food insecurity now. In a statement by the spokesperson of the PDP, he says, quote, "Our party charges President Buhari to take urgent steps to address the urgent issue of hunger by opening our silos to cushion the situation and push down prices. The federal government should also realign the agricultural sector by beefing up security in food production areas so that our farmers can return to their farmland." The PDP also believes that the time has come for President Buhari to provide direct stimuli to small businesses as incentive to pay salaries, revamp production, and boost purchasing power. So, in just 1 week in Nigeria, there's been a gale of debate over the way forward for the country. The conversations of several years became matters of scrutiny yet again. It started on Monday when the governors of the southern region converged on Asaba, the capital of Delta State, to meet over the state of the nation, and they came up with what is now known as the Asaba Declaration. Take a listen to part of their resolutions.
Criminals and bandits in the southern part of the country has presented a severe security challenge such that citizens are not able to live their normal lives, including pursuing various productive activities, leading to a threat to food supply and general security. Consequently, the meeting resolved that open grazing of cattle be banned across southern Nigeria. 3, the meeting noted that development and population growth has put pressure on available land and increased the prospect of conflict between migrant herders and local population in the south. Given this scenario, it becomes imperative to enforce the ban on open grazing in the south, including cattle movement to south by foot.
Since that Asaba Declaration, there have been reactions and different debates over the resolutions of the governors, as you heard Governor Akeredolu there explain on Monday in that video that you've just seen. On this program, there are some of these reactions. Take a listen to Senator Ali Ndume and Governor Yaya Bello.
I sincerely appreciate the position and I respect the position and view of our brothers from the southern or the southwestern part of this country for calling for a structure. Mr. President has heeded to it severally. He has granted the autonomy of the judiciary, granted the autonomy of the legislature, granted the autonomy of the local government by going ahead to sign all the executive orders. Also, national conference, national dialogue. We have our representatives from the Senate to the reps to the various House of Assemblies. For crying out loud, we elected them to represent us. It is not just enough for Mr. President to say, oh, Nigerians should come and let's begin to dialogue. We have each and every one of these. And there has been several dialogues and conferences which the reports are gathering dust today. What stops from the National Assembly, come up with the document, deliberate on it, and come up with your position and forward it to Mr. President and wait for Mr. President to agree to it or not.
We have serious security challenges in this country that are different in all the geopolitical zones if you look at it. And I was expecting that the governors will close themselves in where they did and then address these issues, come up with the 3 solutions that they mentioned, and then come and discuss with the president in a closed session, as we call it in the Senate. Not to come out and then talk to the media and then issue a blanket statement, for example. I'm not concerned about what they said, but like the open grazing system, which they say they'll ban it in all the South and that people cannot move, not addressing how they will accommodate or look at the constitutional issues that will come as to freedom of movement, which every individual is concerned with, and how practical is that decision to be implement. I was thinking that they will come out with the immediate solution, midterm solution, and the long-term solution to open grazing system.
Meanwhile, another governor said anyone who objects the stand of the southern governors has a hidden agenda. That's Governor Samuel Otom of Benue State. Take a listen to him.
Taken to criticize and to castigate southern governors. Southern governors have not done anything wrong. You have done the right thing. Anybody that is castigating them for coming together to say that it is no longer feasible to do open grazing in Nigeria, then we should ranch our cattle. Anyone who is castigating you is an evil man or woman with a hidden agenda.
So, more groups have joined in the debate. The leader of Afenifere, Pa Ayo Adebanjo, says there must be restructuring before we think about 2023 elections. Take a listen to Pa Ayo Adebanjo.
We hope General Buhari, in the interest of Nigerian unity, peace, tranquility, and economic progress, gives serious attention to the recommendation. Finally, Buhari to bury the idea of holding elections before returning to federalism by restructuring the country now. There must be a country before election is held.
So much to chew. For you as a citizen, wherever you are in the world, either you are in Nigeria or outside of Nigeria, what are you thinking about the way forward? Just in 1 week, the problems of Nigeria has been laid like cards on the table. And where do we go from here? So much to talk about. So tonight we get more perspectives on the matter and the way forward for our dear country, Nigeria. I'm being joined by a former governor and a sitting senator in the National Assembly, Senator Rochas Okorocha, a former governor of Imo State, and Senator representing Imo West in the Senate. He joins us from our Abuja studio. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Senator. And let's begin the conversation by getting your view on the statement of the opposition party, PDP, first and foremost. They said things have gotten bad in this country. The PDP has described Nigeria under your party and President Buhari's government as failing. The PDP said under President Buhari, quote, over 82.9 million Nigerians can no longer afford their daily meals due to the failure of the administration to take practical steps to grow and protect the food sector. They went further to say, quote, due to the misrule of the APC and Buhari administration, our country now ranks as 98 out of 107 in Global Hunger Index. Is this true, Senator Okorocha?
Well, Sharon, I want to thank you this evening. And before I say anything, I'd like to re-emphasize that first, I'm a Nigerian, and I'm a proud Nigerian, and I have no other country but this country, and I believe in the unity of this country, prosperity of this country. So, but my heart bleeds over what is happening in our nation and how our nation has turned into a thing of mockery. First and foremost, I'd like to say that for patriotic Nigerians, this is not the time to appoint who is wrong, but to identify what is wrong and what we can do to correct what is wrong. If you're asking about the statement of PDP and what I've said concerning the APC and what have you, no one in this country at this time will say that all is well with our nation. It's a given fact. But as to what are the causatives and what has been the response, what has been responsible for all this is yet another discussion. But Shehu, the truth be spoken, and let's say the fact that Nigeria getting bad every day didn't quite start from this 6 years of President Muhammad Buhari. It's been a lingering thing. Probably you could say it's getting worse, but it has been something that's been on with us over a time. But for as long as we keep chasing shadows and not the substance, we shall keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. Well, I've said time without number that this country has big problem. I'm a heart blessed that we're chasing symptoms and not causatives. The problem in this country is that there's so much injustice in this country and there's so much of poverty in this nation, which have been over a period of long time. I wouldn't like to start commenting as to what PDP have said against APC government. APC government has challenges, and we're not saying that all is well with our country. So coming to join issues and start talking about party has failed and party has not failed, we have gone beyond party under the situation we find ourselves. We're talking about individuals now, we're talking about vision, we're talking about passion with which handle affairs of this nation. So when you bring it to reduce the whole problem of this country to party line, now you say APC has failed. You ask, is it APC that is running the whole government of Federal Republic of Nigeria? You have PDP governors all over the place. We have almost 17 or 18 PDP governors vis-a-vis the 20-something APC governors. So when you say that under President Muhammad Buhari, if Muhammad Buhari has failed in Federal Republic of Nigeria, has he failed in the PDP states? So I think, gentlemen, I think we should stop politicizing the situation. Rather, let's talk about the serious matter before us and see how we can find a lasting solution to it.
And so, I mean, you cannot tell us whether or not, in your own view, what the PDP said is right or wrong. When they say that this government is failing, is that correct?
The question I'm asking you, if I can answer your question, if you say President Muhammad Buhari has failed as a president of Federal Republic of Nigeria, what happens to the governors? Have the governors of the PDP also failed? Are they not part of the government of Nigeria under this dispensation? Or is it APC government all over the place? That's the question I'd like to ask. So if you want to politicize the matter, then you can single out somebody and nail him that has failed. If there's failure, it's a collective failure by all. The Bible has said, all have sinned and come short of the glory of the Lord. So I don't want to, if you want to go for specifics and ask me where has Buhari done well and where has not done well, I can tell you. But I've accepted it and we must take responsibility. No APC government will come to tell you now, or APC person that will come to tell you that all is well with Nigeria. But we must take responsibility. I take responsibility if nobody else takes responsibility. A lot needs to be done. We have a lot of challenges. We have security challenges. We have hunger problem. We have many, many challenges. So you want me to come and say that, oh no, APC has done wonderfully well, so we can't take responsibility. I'm part of APC government and will take responsibility. But what is important to me, what can we do to correct what has gone wrong?
So let's go ahead and do just that. But it will also be good because I know you are one of those who made promises, who campaigned, at least in your own state and the Southeast region. You went into town to campaign about the APC promises. Some of those promises many Nigerians are asking now. And so if you say you take responsibilities, maybe Nigerians know the right persons to ask. But let me ask your view on the Asaba Declaration, the resolution of the meeting of the Southern governors, specifically on the issue of open grazing and those who oppose it. Do you agree with Governor Autumn that they have hidden agenda?
Now, let me tell you, Again, this is where I'm quite concerned about happiness in our nation. And there's so much bitterness in this country now, and so much suspicion that every statement is given interpretation from different angles by different people and creating different meaning altogether. Now, the Asaba Declaration, which goes to say that for the first time in history, that the Southeast, Southwest, and South governors meet, irrespective of their parties. Now, listen again, PDP is involved, APC is involved, coming together to discuss issues as it affects the region. Now, for me, it is something I'm concerned, because it's the very first time a Yoruba man is working with an Igbo man, a Yoruba man working with a Joe man, Shekiri man, and vice versa, all of them coming together. That's even where I'm concerned. I think that's what has provoked the whole discourse or discussion on this matter, because it's never expected that they will come together in of party, both PDP and APC, who is in government, and talking about the same issue. That cause for concern. I see it more or less like a clear and call, rather than the way it's being presented. I think what the southern governors have come to say is that, listen, we're Nigerians, and our people are showing so much concern about what is happening. We're asking that we should come over let the government meet, let people meet, and have a national dialogue. Now, that is one. And then talk about open grazing and what have you. But let me start with the issue of open grazing before I go to national dialogue, if that will help you. Now, the question you ask, Sherwin, since independence, since 1960, has there been any time southern governors have met to say that they ban open grazing? The question is no. Has there been any time that has there been any meeting where the southern governors have said, look, the Fulanis are enemy or Nanas are enemy? No. And I don't think that's the intention of that meeting. If it is, then I don't think I'm part of it. But what I understand from this whole meeting is that, listen, things are not well. And I like the name they use, national dialogue. Dialogue means there's something you are doing I don't like, and there's something I'm doing I think you don't like. Can we come under a round table and discuss it? And that is a call for peace, not a call for war. For God's sake. Dialogue means, come, let's discuss and see how we can have an amicable understanding on the current issue as it affects us as a people. So that should not be taken out of context and does not look like polarization. I know most people are concerned that for southern governors to meet means that, there's a danger of polarization in this country. I don't think that's the intention. And again, when you call for national dialogue, I think the governors must have met at Governors Forum. Nationally, they must have met with the Mr. President, they would have met with the senators, or tried to find solutions. I don't think they have found a solution. So on the national dialogue, they say, okay, let's come together and call our leaders. Because national dialogue, whenever it takes place, is a leader's talk, it's elders' talk, and not the children talk. It goes beyond National Assembly, it goes beyond National Conference. These are like elders, traditional rulers, past presidents, clergies, religious leaders coming together. Our founding fathers, if there are still some of them alive, to come together and say, look, this is how we started, this is the way to go, we should do this, we love each other. I don't think the intention of these southern governors is to call for break. And again, for the herdsmen, like I said before, there has not been any time in history where they say, listen, all herdsmen must go, we don't want to call them. But even at that, if you look at, there's an act, Federal Road Safety Act already, that prohibits moving of cows by the road, but you have to put them in a container and put them to transport them from one place to the other. I think, Sheon, to the best of my understanding, we should even look beyond this and see the injustices going on within the headers arrangement. For instance, have you ever seen a header before? If you have seen a header, you see that these are children 12 years, 9 years, 13 years, 15 years, made to trek from 1,000 kilometers from Kano or from Sokoto or from Niger to Southeast. In the first place, this is a human rights issue. It's a labor law issue. It's child abuse. To get that children not going to school and get them to trek every day. That would have happened before 1960 where there were no roads. But right now, to have these children, that's my concern, that these are not going to school. And if you agree with me, these children do not own those cattle. Who own the cattle? Who own these cattle? These cattle are owned by eminent Nigerians. Some of them are even Southerners. Some of them are northerners. But we subjected these little children to travel 1,000 kilometers holding stick and then going to this. And coming to the point made by the southern governors, they are saying, look, our reason for saying we should abandon this because the AK-47 that is involved within the headers. And then the headers that we used to know are the people that carry stick, not AK-47. And then when these cows come, they destroy people's crops. I think that's a concern. They're not saying they don't like cow meat, or they will not eat shaki, or they will not eat cow leg. They even love it more than the northerners. So why would you stop it? But is the effect, rather than talking about how do you address the what do you call it, the AK-47 being carried now and the destruction of properties or farmland. These are the two issues that is causing this controversy. And then we jump over it and politicize it. So my concern is that there are so many elements of this to do. But let me talk to the Nigerians for the first time as a businessman. Do you know how many billions of dollars this nation is missing by not handling this business of cattle in the Federal Republic of Nigeria? This business of cattle can create 1 million jobs for Nigerians if well managed. I wish Nigerians can call me, or the government will call me and say, look, Rochas, there's some 6 billion we want to give to you and share. Take it and fix the cattle business. If I don't create 1 million jobs within the shortest possible time, then just know I'm not Rochas. This is business. What people will say, see money, and people are just joking with it. By now, do you know how much we used to be exporters of leather skin? What of the dairy products, the milk? So assuming we have this business now turning to business, do you know how many welders, how many fabricators will build the body carriers for these cows while we import the head from China and fix it? You know how many drivers? 2,000 trailers, 2,000 drivers, 2,000 used companies. It will create more than 2,000 jobs in the first instance. So why don't we look at the business? We can export cows. We can export the meat. Are we waiting now until we start importing meat from Nigeria? Or from Somalia, or from Mali to import cow meat before we can eat meat? I think we should look at this. And then I think what the governors are saying, that they don't want cow meat or cow movement. They're saying, let it be ranched, let it be kept in a place where it should be kept. And these children can go to school also there. We can open schools. Nobody say Fulani should go. I will not support anybody who say Fulani people should go. I can't even support it. I can't support it. So all I'm saying, Mr. Sheung, is that sometimes we politicize every single statement. We make it look like there's a big problem when there's just no problem. I think this is a matter of understanding. But coming to other issues of this national dialogue, my only concern about their statement is the time factor. If you look at it now, President Muhammad Buhari has spent 70% of his tenure as president. He has barely 2 years to go. And if you start forming this national dialogue team, I'm sure it will take you 6 months to compose it and set up secretariat and what have you. That will take you up to January. And by January, February, trust Nigerian politicians. Politics have taken a different dimension. And when will Buhari have time to complete this whole thing before now hand over to the new government? And then if we don't take time, politics will come into it and create more division for us. So it's neither here nor there, as I can say. Let's do the part of peace, and let us not create hate in already bad situation. We can't handle both.
In your own view, do you suppose that could have caused, for those who are opposing the Asaba declaration?
If anybody opposes Asaba declaration, means maybe he understands it from a different perspective. You see, depends on interpretation. If they have said this is a clarion call for peace, that we want to meet as brothers and sisters and to see the way forward for this nation, nobody will say no to that. But when some people interpret it as name like, oh, we are South half group now, over the North, is a threat, we want to polarize, if they don't accept, we're going to move, that is where the problem comes. It's a matter of communication. Our communication strategy in this country is faulty. We don't communicate well. We might mean well, by the time you express it, it's misinterpreted and interpreted in such a manner that it gives a great kind of gap. I don't think that's the intention. So it's not calling for division. It's calling for national dialogue, for God's sake, that people should meet and discuss. What is wrong with that? There's not absolutely nothing wrong. But at the same time is of essence. If President Buhari could not do this 4 years ago, I want him to do it just at the end of his tenure. Of course, course, whatever you start in government, you should be able to implement it before you leave. When will he finish it? When will the election come in? When are we going to do all that? But that is just my concern. But
yeah,
let us talk about what can unite us, not what will divide us.
All right, we are due for a break, but quickly, people are looking at the fact that there is an urgent need to address some of these situations. But asking the president to address the nation, what do you suppose that would do to the challenges facing this country?
Challenges how? I mean, address the nation, which was issue of security. What issues in particular? There are many issues. But I've told you here, the issues facing this country, whether you call national dialogue, national conference, for as long as you don't address the issue of injustice and hunger in this country, you have not started. Believe me, you'll go back to square one. You'll be just being another battle of failure. So these are the major issues. And more of these problems are coming again. We have right now in the north, we have in Nigeria 14.3 million out-of-school children. 70% of them are from the north. And these children are not going to school. And we are talking about education injustice going on right now. Children are not going to school. These children will grow up again to become a problem to the society. And not going to be a problem in the north, they'll be a problem to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We must understand this. That the Boko Haram will suffer today was the ignorance was betrayed many years ago, not during the APC administration, 30 years ago, when children were not going to school. And we say it doesn't matter.
All right.
We are comfortable for as long as our children are abroad and the children are not going to school. Nigerians are, of course, leaders are comfortable. But look at the consequences now. Our children can no longer stay at home comfortably. Our children are being kidnapped every day, and people are asking for ransom. So these are problems. We don't address problems. We just address symptoms in this country.
Senator, we're due for a break. Please, let's take a breather. And up next, it appears the nation is in a dire need of an urgent answer to the challenges confronting it. What could that be? We'll talk more with my guest after this break. Join us again.
Oh, guys, see you're impressed with this transformation. With credit bill, I got a loan to renovate my shop in such a short while.
My sister, dreams do come true. That was how I got the loan that helped my daughter pursue her dream of becoming a medical doctor. All thanks to Credit Bill.
It's even so much easier for a salary earner like me.
You can get up to 4 million naira in 4 hours. Creditville, making dreams come true.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us right here on Channels Television Sunday Politics. My guest tonight is the former governor of Imo State and a sitting senator representing Imo West in the National Assembly, Senator Rochas Okorocha. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight. Let's continue our conversation on issues of national the debate where Nigerians are talking about the way forward. There are also talks about the issue of national dialogue. Payo Adebanjo, for example, is saying that we cannot think about 2023 election without President Buhari urgently restructuring this country. Since some eminent Nigerians are saying that is the urgent solution to our problems, we need to sit down and resolve it. You had also said that it's the elite of this nation that needs to come together to say, not the children. What kind of modality are you suggesting for this meeting?
Well, in the first place, let me emphasize there's a difference between national dialogue and national sovereign conference. You see, I think national dialogue is a call for understanding, which is what I propose should happen, really. There's no, you either have dialogue or you have war, or you have disagreement. So national dialogue is different from national sovereign conference. So I don't know which one he's talking about. If it's national dialogue, of course, national dialogue can take around the table and call the leaders, the various regional groups, the various traditional rulers and clergies, and those who often criticize government from outside, come around the table. And it takes nothing for Mr. President to address them and say, look, this is challenges we have. This is what is the problem. What's your contribution? Instead of saying out there to criticize, now you are here before me, tell me what I think I'm doing wrong and what I should have done better than what I'm doing. I think if President Buhari throws this back to the public, he'll be shocked at the progress we're going to make as a nation. But my concern about that too, I said, the time left might not be very convenient to do all this before the end of his tenure. So this is there. When you call for national sovereign conference, it's much deeper. It has to do with constitutional amendment. You have to go back to the history of amalgamation. Where do we get it wrong? Military rule, civilian rule. What can we pick and drop? This is a much more complex thing to do, which is what the National Assembly is saying they are doing. And if the National Assembly has come up with their report of constitutional amendment, they see whether it helps the matter. If it does not help, then there might be need for this national conference, much as they call national conference. Whatever we can, it's a place of talk. Whatever we can talk or say that can help our nation, for God's sake, there's nothing wrong with it. But what will make it like it's a big issue, I don't know what's the big issue about it. I don't even understand. Maybe people are here to teach me, so I can understand. But what the Southern governors talking about is national dialogue. They want the leaders to come together and discuss, even a round table. Let me tell you, Mr. Shehu, so sometimes if this happens in a family, where there's no communication, misunderstanding abounds. You might have your wife and your children, and the economy is biting hard. You don't have money to give them. Your wife is asking you for 20,000 naira for shopping. You have only 5,000 naira or 10,000 balance in your account. What do? A wise father will call the children and call the wife and say, gentlemen, this is my salary. This is the 5,000 I have. This is what I have. There's nobody outside who's taking this money. This is how I spend the money. They'll be broken down. They'll bring ideas on how to cut down the family expenses and how to make it work. It's just like a family. And we must understand that this nation is still a family, for God's sake. So my only worry, Mr. Shehu, and for Nigerians who cares to hear me out, is that the way we handle issues in this country is just wrong. Handling of matters is just wrong. Sometimes the presidency see it as if it's an attempt to pull them down. Then the people see it as if it's a marginalization because there's no communication. The government of the day is not communicating enough to the people. The people are misunderstanding government and putting their own judgment. And so there's whole complications here and there. And it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
Senator,
that as a condition.
Yeah. So, if I may ask, for those who are saying we need to urgently restructure, but it does look like you said this problem might not be as big as people are making it. But what, in your view, is the solution to the problem of this country? And those who are asking that it has to be urgently fixed, how urgent can this be sorted?
Listen, every problem in a country, hold the leader responsible. Every problem in the state, hold the governor responsible. Every problem in the Senate, hold the Senate president responsible. Every problem in the family, hold the head of the family responsible. The problem is that we don't take responsibility. That is my major concern when it comes to these issues. Asking me what can be done. What can be done to fix what has gone wrong? Again, it has a lot to do with communication, understanding the problem first. What is the problem? Communication is also right. Do you know there's a speech the presidency will make today and it will calm nerves? Do you know that speech that the governors will make today and it will calm nerves? So communication is very key. There's problem, but the handling of the problem is another thing. That's what is called leadership. That's what I'm saying. But I've told you that the major problem in this country is to, listen, address the injustice in this country, address the issue of poverty in this country. That will help a whole long way. There's nothing wrong to say, listen, you see this television station belongs to Channel. The Channel owns it, but let me make use of it. I mean, it makes a lot of difference. And when I say this thing does not belong to you, I want to take it, problem will start. So these are some of the things that let's start from right communicating rightly first to the people that we govern. Take for instance, let me take you to even more controversial part is the issue of these insurgents everywhere, the issue of Boko Haram, the issue of herdsmen, the issue, all these, they are problems that are bound to happen. First and foremost, we have not been able to let these youth understand that they are our children, to start with first. You are our children, you are my children. And you have to have the mentality that you are dealing with your children first, but you might have the bad children, the good children, the stubborn children. I would have started from that part and said, these are my children, what can we do? What's your problem? Let's engage them. Then rushing quickly, treating your children as if they're outsiders or criminals, and when they don't have job. Now, what do? You just call them terrorists. And when they become terrorists, you engage army, they shoot, or engage Air Force, they shoot, or get everybody. This is them burdens themselves and become a problem in their society. This is something that would have been solved by just mere communication with these people. So it happens. When you ask me this question, there's a lot. Our problem in Nigeria is that we don't even know our problems. And it's not unsurmountable. Let me tell you, there's a new Nigeria coming soon. New Nigeria will come, a great Nigeria. And this country will be one of the greatest countries in the history of mankind. I believe it, once we get this right. You see, the story told in the North is different from the story told in the South. The story told among the religious line is different from the story told in the Christian line. But communication, like I said, this nation, the leadership of nation needs to create a storyline that will bind everybody. So, Senator, about national unity, bring patriotism, commitment.
Let me take you to a more specific terrain, which is your region, the Southeast region, and perhaps your state of Imo State, that has had its share in some of these insecurity issues. There are those who are of the view that the problems are political in nature. What, in your view, is the cause of the kind of insecurity that we see in your state of Imo and Southeast, where military formation, police station, prison facilities were being attacked? What caused that?
Okay, Sheung, when you say it, some people, the assertion is political. Of what political benefit will it be to any politician to bomb police station or to bomb prison? Think about it. Of what political benefit? Politicians do something for political benefit. Or if it is, for instance, Rochas will bomb police station or bomb prison and blow up the prison and remove prisoners because that will make me become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, or make me the governor, or give me appointments, or make me become famous. I have looked at the whole politicians in Imo State. Of what political benefit will they have? Definitely, it is not anything political. Definitely, and I can say that. But when I learned the government wants to come up with names of people and whatever, I hope they do that soon, to come up with really a politician. Let us understand what will be the reason why any politician will go into this. But remember, if you talk about the insecurity, this has been there for more than 20 years. First of all, when IPOB started, It started as agitation, and it was called MASOP. The MASOP itself grew large because once any young man does not have a job, the most available job is to be part of this in agitation. Even those who never knew what the war was like, who were not even born before the war, seem to be more angry about the consequences of the war than those who saw the war. So you can see. And none of these people, 95% of them that are talking about IPOB never saw the Nigerian Civil War or the Biafran Civil War. So it was mere agitation that I said. And from what they hear, this part of the country is marginalized. We don't have water, we don't have light, we don't have that. I came to inherit it. When I came was the time that IPOB splitted from MASOP. IPOB splitted from MASOP. It wasn't government that made it. On their own, they splitted. And I'm sure if they were not attended to by now, they would have had about 10 factions on their own. That tells you the reason behind the whole agitation to start with, from their own perspective. But I recall the time they came to Imo, and the leader of that IPOB came himself to Owerri, himself, after having gone to a bar everywhere. And I had a Security Council meeting. I said, listen, handling is very key in this matter. First of all, know that these are our children. If they've gone crazy, it's for us to let them know and educate them, hear them out, what is it. And I remember telling the police commissioner then and the brigade commander then and the civil defense, all of that, I said, look, make it a protest, not a war. Let's call them, let them go around. By the time they went around Imo State, some of them got thirsty. By the evening, 4 o'clock, I saw some of them drinking water under the tree. And they were fine. And when I insisted to meet some of their leaders, they said they would not see me. I insisted, I said, I want to see, why can't you talk to me? Eventually, whether those were their leaders, they sent me 3 people in the night. And they came to me, and the young men's eyes were red. I said, my friend, what is your problem? What do you want? By the time they started explaining to me, they said that they took off their boys and locked them in Okigwe, and police shot some of their people and killed some of their people. They want those people released, and they marginalized them. That the person I'm talking to here is the military administrator of the new BIAFRA. This is the Commissioner for Finance. So they already have position in what they are pursuing. And that made me say, look, listen, this is not the way to go. After I talked to them, as I tried to engage them, they said, look, we don't have road, we don't have water, these people are against us, they don't want us, we want to have our own liberation. And I said, can you convince me? If you convince me today as Rochas or Culture, then I can follow you. But if you can convince me and I convince you, can you follow me? But for what benefit will it be? Look at the Southeast, look at where we are, where we are surrendered. I said, well, even the national airport, you want to give me a new passport to hold Rochas, and I will not be part of Nigeria, so I become a managing director of and chairman of 100,000 naira business instead of becoming a shareholder, 1% shareholder of a $1 billion business. That's what they're telling me. So it was just engagement. And listen to me. These are our children. Agitation. If they know that much we know, they might not doing what they are doing. So we need to engage in that. But when this issue of when the army introduced a Kunweke or a Python dance in the Southeast, I called the meeting and said, you are trying to give recognition to somebody who does not require this kind of recognition. And you're going to make him very big. Just like when Yusuf was killed in Bauchi, that Boko Haram started. Since then, this nation have not known any peace. And I said, for God's sake, when things like this start, engage in proper investigation. Investigate, and America will take like 2 years, find out the source. If we have taken time and properly do intelligence gathering and equip a department like SSS very well of Nigeria and fund them properly to even mix up with everybody and get us what is the root cause. Before you know it, you find out where this root cause, and you nip it on the board. But not done. It's just that if somebody makes a phone call, people come there and say, look, let's start shooting. When you shoot, how many will you kill? So, and that's why we're now importing $2 billion worth of equipment to fight crisis, which can be handled without all this.
Senator, if I may ask you, is there any plan to parley or enter into some kind of agreement with the state governor, your governor in Imo State? Some people believe in the state that if both of you reconcile, that it might help to de-escalate the tension in Imo State.
Well, Governor Hope Uzodimma hates me with passion. He just hates me. I don't know the reason. And he's been fighting me. But never a day have I fought him. And I made a point of it that I will never fight back. But he just shows hatred and envy and fight. I don't know for what reason. And he doesn't seem to be changing. He's not relenting. As I speak to you now, my drivers and my security men have been arrested for the past 5 days and kept in the police station, and nothing said about it. And I hope they're trying to find out whether they're IPOB or Boko Haram. I don't know what it is, but I'm blaming them. But these are some of the things that are very provoking. I don't know what is wrong with him. I just don't know. If I know, I will have. But I think I see hatred, and I know that if I engage him, that will create even more problem in the state that I've suffered to build. So I must be a father. I'm not fighting him. Last time he ordered for my arrest, I was arrested, but I've gone through so much in Nigeria. If you recall that I was the same person that won my election and Senate, this thing was seized, my certificate was seized. Last time I was arrested here again in Abuja I was arrested, I was being humiliated, my properties are burnt, are destroyed everywhere in Imo State, and so I just don't know. But I love peace, and time will tell. For whatever it is, I think time will tell. But the gentleman, I don't know what it is, but he has this hate or passion. At a point, I was just thinking that he was acting on the script, and he had people behind him doing this. But I'm yet waiting for all this script. But every story must one day have an end.
All right. You said that.
I think there's no better way to peace. I've advised him. I said, if Governor Hope Uzodinma had invited me, I would have told him some of the ways we have handled this. If you recall, Shengu, maybe I've forgotten, that Imo State was #1 in kidnapping. I expect they should have asked me, how did I end kidnapping? And how I ended kidnapping was through what I call community government, CGC, where I created the 4th tier of government. The traditional rulers became chairman of the 4th tier of government and were able to handle security. I would have told him all this, how it is done. This young man, I had what's called Youth Must Work. I engaged 25,000 youths in Imo State, and they were all busy. When I said my people, even when there was no money, you engage them. I walk around the street with them, I talk with them. It's all communication. Governance is not what you just puff yourself up and be proud about it and show that all powers. No, power does not belong to you. Power belongs to
if I may ask,
back to the people.
If I may ask, what can you tell us, or please clarify to us? Have you let go of the properties the Imo State government claim were illegally acquired by you and some of your family members?
No, Imo State government set up a panel of inquiry. And if you recall what happened at that time, that when they set up the panel of inquiry, and the panel of inquiry were chaired by PDP chairman and all that, just to find me guilty, whether I'm guilty or not, I must be guilty. They carried out of their panel, and I learned they went there, taking the properties of the hotel belonging to my wife, which is used to support the foundation, our charity schools. Then when I went to that place, I only went to inquire. I said, you people packing this load, why are you packing the load out of the hotel, stealing fridges and ACs and everything? I met some policemen there. I said, do you have court order? They don't have court order. Then I was attacked by the hoodlums, aided by the SA to Governor Hope Uzodinma, and there were gunshots. If not for an Hausa policeman who told me, Oga, he said to me, Oga in Hausa, Kashigamota, don't like Kashigamota Yenzu means enter the car before they will kill you. A policeman to reveal that I was why I entered that pickup. And they took me to police station because the idea was to assassinate me at that point. So, but I went to ask them, where is court order? When they had no court order, the following day they went to court by Njamanze, one Justice Njamanze, and got a court order to justify what they have done first. Now, in the same property, EFCC has also gone to court and gotten an interim forfeiture order to seize the same property. So the property is both in the hand of EFCC and the Imo State government, funny enough. And that's why I called double jeopardy. And I'm in court. I said, who should investigate me? This is too much investigation. You
but you were the EFCC. EFCC invited you. You were there for about a night or two. Was that in
2 nights?
2 nights. Was that in reference to the time, the activities, your activities when you were in government, relating to funds, or what exactly were they asking you about?
Yeah, it was relating to statement made by other people. But I said to them that, I said to EFCC that I have not come to respond to your call because there's already a matter in court. And once the matter is subject, you cannot talk about it until the matter finishes from court. Because Imo State government has taken me to court on the same matter, same subject matter. and we're in court in the Federal High Court here in Abuja on the same subject matter. But now I can't be called because, and they said, no, you must come. And I was arrested. So I went there and made statement. But EFCC is doing their job. They're just doing their job because if there's no report, EFCC cannot just nose into whatever you're doing. And that's why sometimes people misunderstand the activities of EFCC as if it's witch hunting. EFCC is not witch hunting. They act on report being written by somebody or petition being written by somebody. That is why in this country, if you are not in good time with your predecessor or your person who succeeds you, you must go to EFCC. But if you are at peace with the person, you can never go to EFCC. Even in federal government, if all is well, you can't go to EFCC no matter what. Right. Only when somebody is against you and write petition. So EFCC acts on petition. That's what they have invited me for.
So let me ask you quickly before we get off the issue of the Southeast and your time as governor in Imo State. There are also talks in your state about the establishment of ESN, the Eastern Security Network or Imo Security Network, as the case may be. What can you tell us about that organization, how it came by? Because we're talking about your engagement with IPOB members.
I really don't. Do you know what's called ESN? I don't even know what ESN means, really. I don't know. What was so popular with us was IPOB during my government. And one thing that might shock you, I'm sure nobody will tell you this, that the people who call IPOB, from what I saw last time when they came around Imo for demonstration and all that, these are our sons and daughters. They are our children. They're not foreigners. To start with, they are children. They are the people you see. They are the keke drivers. They are the mechanic people. They are the traders. They are the people who believe that look, the things are not going well. During the time that I had this issue of kidnapping and all that, what I did in Imo State was I had what is called Imo Security Network, Imo Civil Guard, Niger Delta Security Network. If you recall, maybe you have forgotten, that I was responsible, first and foremost in the history of that state, in recovering arms from the use of Niger Delta of Oguta and Ohajegbema. Hundreds of AK-47 from them the first time by just engaging them. I recall my wife even went there for vigil for 2 days because all the leaders of Ohajegbema and Oguta ran out of the state and went to different states. The place was deserted and left in the hands of hoodlums. I heard the name of these agitators. And some of the hoodlums joined the agitators, and just like what happened in the NSAS. That was what happened in Imo State. But when I engaged them and we started, some of them brought their arms, brought out their uniforms and handed over. And some of them, I engaged them into what we call Imo Security Network, paying them 15,000, 20,000 naira a month, and they were fine. Some of them I engaged them into farming, some of them into fishery. I gave them 250 million naira note, a check twice, 500 million, that was given to them, opening Babin Salon, and the place became calm. Imo became calm. Then real estate started developing. People were coming from all over the whole country, establishing business in Imo State. Just like Nigerians are not very good in investigative journalism, that's also my problem with you. We sit one place and just do this. I wish you can go to Imo and make inquiries. What I did in Imo is what people to emulate. What I did in Imo, and I say it proudly on this national TV on my word of honor, and I say it on my word of honor, you can, since creation 36 years ago, outside Mbakwe, put together what everyone has said I've done can be compared to what I've done in Imo State in 8 years.
All yes, right. Look at so because of time, Senator, because you are not privy to what we do, you can't make judgment on whether or not we just sit here. We do our job and I'm
I've never seen
one of the things that I've been to Imo more than you can imagine. But let me ask you, because the allegations from the government side of things is that some of what you have now were acquired and they are questioned because before you came into office, and they are questioning Mark about how they were acquired. And that's the reason that that's some of the claims they have. If you can quickly answer that question, I have one more question that I'd like you to answer before we go.
Okay, Sheung, and I want to say it here and point, and I'm sure I'm national television, the whole world to see. And I challenge anybody to prove that I acquired any property from any government fund. I think people have forgotten that I was Rochas before becoming the governor of Imo State. I think they have forgotten completely. If anything, becoming a governor made me even poorer than what I was in the past. I don't know whether I acquired any single property here in Abuja. Check, there's none. The only property in question that I'm talking about was my wife's hotel, not even mine, which is used to support the Rochas Foundation College nationwide. We have hotels all over. We have in Jos, we have in Abuja here, we have properties everywhere. Our properties, if you go to my conduct bureau, you see my properties and see what is what. So I don't understand when all of a sudden, Imo 3 billion naira or 5 billion naira a month would have been where I will make money. And out of this money, they say I'm able to build the best international cargo airport. At least the fans said so. I built 27 hospitals standing there. Some of them completed, some of them not completed. I built every single thing you have in Abuja. I built just like have Eagle Square, I have Hero Square.
All right. Senator, because we're out of time, I'd like to take my last question with you.
No, what I'm saying, listen, I want to help you to know. Standing today, the best police headquarters outside the one in Abuja here is built by me. The best court was built by me. The best prison now, they refuse to pack in, is built by me. So how much does he move make?
Yeah, we're out of time, Senator, and we need to go.
No, wait,
but I'd like
yes,
to.
Yes.
Yeah, we're out of time.
Okay.
But let me quickly ask you. I'm hearing
but I'm telling you
that
about
you have
the property.
ambition for 2023 presidency. Are you planning to contest for president in this next election cycle?
Unfortunately for you, unfortunately for speaking here, is that there's a difference between ambition and vision. I think I have the vision to be president, much more than the ambition you're talking about. And if I'm going to declare, I will not declare before you alone, my friend Sheon. I'll declare before the Federal Republic of Nigeria. All the newspapers and TVs will hear about it. But my concern is vision. We're tired of people having ambition. We want people who have vision to be president to fix this country right.
Senator Rochas Okorocha, former governor of Imo State and a sitting senator representing Imo West Senatorial District in the Senate. Thank you so much indeed, Your Excellency, for your time tonight.
Thank you.
And that's our show for today, everyone. And thanks for watching. I'm Sean Akimbale. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Live stream world-class football and more from Supersport, the biggest Africa Magic and Emmy award-winning series, blockbusters and kid shows. Go big for less and get Showmax Mobile or Showmax Pro Mobile, plus 2.5 gig MTN data included at a great price that suits you. That's 25 hours of sports, series, movies, and kid shows with a 1-month Showmax subscription with 2.5 gig MTN data. Dial *131# or visit showmax.com/MTN now.
Slay with my hair, trust expression, cause it makes me stay expressive. Expressing you, expressing me, all day long. For me, it's nothing but expression, to keep my head in check. Expressing me, expressing you, all day long.
Stay connected to the world with Channels TV Podcast and get all the trending stories. Simply log on to channelstv.com, click on podcast, select the program of your choice, and listen. Our podcast is available on Apple, Google, and Spotify. Tap the expertise you trust. Touch the stories that touch you. Anytime, anywhere.